Two remain here in Group F as we find out who is the last player to advance on to the round of 16. Will it be LucifroN or will it be the faceless void that is uzer?
Uzer, who plays under the name uzer Ek, or uzer Ek, however you want to say that name. Going up against LucifroN, who we just saw pretty much demolish Bly.
Yeah.
I'd say, you know, LucifroN played it very clean. There weren't too many mistakes on his behalf. I'd say one mistake was probably his engagements were a little bit too careless. For example, running into Widow Mines a lot, his own Widow Mines.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be careful about that. But overall, he played it pretty good. And the thing is, this is going to be very difficult for the Polish Zerg player here, who is our faceless void. We want to see him make it to the round of 16 to give him a face.
That's true. We'd love to give him a face.
Yeah, we'll give him a face. And you'd see him play live, and of course he'll be on the stream and on the cameras all the time. But there's LucifroN in the way. LucifroN finished 6th place in the last season. He's got 2 round of 8s in the last couple of months at international tournaments, you know, including the WCS. So this is going to be difficult. Yeah. LucifroN is one of the best players in Europe, one of the best players outside of Korea. MVP praised him so much in Season 1.
It's funny because LucifroN in Season 1 actually had just a fantastic run of just game after game after game, never dropping a single map for a long, long time during Season 1. But now here in Season 2, it's already changed. In round of 32, it's already changed here. So there's a little bit of a stumble there for LucifroN. But now, will he be able to advance on? Belshir Vestige is our first map.
So Belshir Vestige, we saw this play out a little bit earlier against Bly, or just a little bit ago. I think it's going to play out very similar. Bly, well, not from Bly's perspective, but more so from LucifroN's. I don't think LucifroN's going to do anything different to what we just saw in those 2 games. It's going to be down uzer to change things up.
As we have, spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our red Terran, he is Mao's LucifroN. And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our blue Zerg, the challenger, he is uzer.
Uzer. Not to be mistaken with Fuser.
No.
Fuser.
2 entirely different people.
So the big question that should surround this matchup is, what does uzer, if he's watched, you know, he should have, absolutely. I'd be very, 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 very surprised if he didn't actually watch the games earlier that Bly just played. What does he do now upon watching those? If he didn't watch the games, then he clearly doesn't care to advance from this group, because that is just free information. There's no reason not to watch it. And I wonder what he does different. He's drone scouting here, which is different.
Yeah.
Making sure there's no 2 racks. And that's actually a little bit smart, because if you think about that, LucifroN knows he watched the games, then every time it was like a Reaper play. What happens if a 2 racks came in? So, you know, it's like, all right, let's make sure there isn't that option. But it is the same opening as LucifroN opened up with both of the previous games.
Yeah, just going for that Reaper initially for LucifroN, making his way on out eventually here. And uzer, he's going to be going for hatch first. And I would love to see him go for that gas pretty quickly off the back of this. But by all means, he'll just have a few lings to delay, queens to eventually push away Reapers, and he should stabilize from there. LucifroN can be annoying with his control of Reapers, though. He's very good about it.
One thing to, I mean, he's great with his control in every aspect, from small, detailed units to high-end, large armies as well.
An annoying drone trying to block off a supply depot there for a second, but no, doesn't get it in the end. He was too busy chasing away the SCV. So he's locked in for now, poor little guy.
LucifroN's weakness, I suppose, in this matchup is going to be his mid-game defense. That's where I think uzer could win this series. I think that as the game goes later, and even in the early stages, if we see a tank again, that's not going to work. It's the mid-game. Unless uzer pulls out an incredible performance, which I don't even think he may believe in himself. I think Roach bailing, Roach bailing speed attacks with layer play, 1-1 to 2-2 Roach Hydra attacks. These type of all-ins, I think, is going to be where uzer needs to find success.
Yeah.
The kind of weakness, the Achilles heel of LucifroN in that mid-stage.
Well, we'll see if that's actually going to occur here. LucifroN already dives in with his Reaper. The uzer did actually steal his opponent's gas. So, behave, Apollo. Behave. Come back to bite
well, do you know what? That's what Apollo does when you tell him to behave. He gets out the game, and hopefully... Oh, what? I got out of the game. I was trying to not... I tried to not make any more lag. I just left the game. That's what happens usually when you lag. You leave the game.
Darn it.
I'm out. I'm out.
He's out, guys.
It's not me that's making the lag. I'm already out.
He's out. What? Yeah, it keeps going, but you've gone. All right, okay.
I'm not in the game anymore.
All right. Unfortunately, I cannot leave prior, as I am indeed observing. So that was the reason that I couldn't leave.
Do you know
Trying to take the moral high ground.
Do you know what happens now? I shouldn't have left that game.
Why?
Because if you drop, my heart just sunk because the green screen came up. I was like, well, wait a minute. If you drop, we don't
have an observer.
We don't have an observer. We can't watch this
guys.
game.
Well, they would have.
We actually can't watch this. Wow, that was a really silly move from me.
You've taken a bold step here, Apollo. A bold step. All right, but I think we should be all right. Anyway, third command center on the way here for LucifroN. And I like the gas steal. It kind of prevents him from really kind of gearing up for, Hellbats and things like that.
It stops him from going Hellbats.
Yeah, it's cool.
Fast, at least. Oh, nice pick off there with, by LucifroN. Where's he going to go? Ah, nowhere.
Left, right, nowhere, dead.
All right. A Zergling does make its way in, and it will spot... I don't know how it made its way in, but it did squeeze past and see the third command center. So a nice scout there. Knows that no... And also saw the tech lab, too.
Yeah.
So he knows that no aggression is coming. Perfect time. Go take a third, buddy.
Exactly.
Take it earlier than you need to at this stage.
Yeah, he certainly shouldn't be gearing up for something crazy like a roach attack, because that will be shut down by the siege tank, which Mr. LucifroN, he's already making. And he's placing all his supply depots and probably a bunker in exactly the same place that he was doing against Bly.
Yeah, I think one of the two strengths of what he does now, and more so the weaknesses of opening up for a tank and not Hellions early, is going for a fast third or excessive creep spread. Without Hellions on the field, how can you stop the creep spread? So I think those are the two real strengths here. But we do see a layer coming down. Again, with a layer coming down and all 4 gases being taken, it's a couple of ways. For uzer, I feel that if he slaps down a Roach Warren very soon, it's for Roach speed. If it's not, it's for Mutalisks. Please, Roach Warren. Okay,
I think so.
That should be Roach Warren. So with a Roach Warren, this is going to be for very early Roach speed. It's going to give him ability, can be aggressive, can be defensive. And I think he's going to get Roach attack upgrades from his evolution chambers. I don't think it's Spy this time.
Yeah, it's just going to go into that straight to 1-1. Didn't Bly go for... or did he have double evolution chamber on this map?
On this map, yes, he did.
All right, okay then.
So yeah, Roach upgrades. Okay, this is nice. So Roach speed, +1 attack upgrades for his Roaches. So actually, I wouldn't. I don't know. I'm doing that thing again. You know, where I argue with myself.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like that. That's what happens when I
do that on the tram.
I do that so much. I argue with myself all the time.
Yeah, people look at me funny on the tram when I do it. Because I pulled the corresponding facial expressions, and it looks really strange.
Well, 25,000 people are looking at me doing it now, too. I was going to say, I wonder if he should go Hydralisk, and then I said, no, he shouldn't, to myself, because he doesn't have enough gas. If he wants to build a lot of Roaches and keep up with 2-2 upgrades, because 1-1 is already 25% complete.
Yeah.
It's going to be very soon that he has to get 2-2. If he throws down the Hydralisk, then he very simply can't afford it. Roach drops. Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
He just researched Ventral Sacs here. Still no third base coming down. Now, this is an interesting attack. And this is where I think that his, like I said, the key to success is going to be at this kind of stage.
It's unexpected as well. It's very unexpected. It's not something that normally comes out if this is going to be his full game plan. So uzer, I was about to call him Userek then. Uzer could catch LucifroN off guard with this.
Well, Hellbats do come in. There's going to be a lot of Roaches here that should be able to clean this up. Just got to be careful not to lose the Queen. Very important to keep the Lava Injects up going. Oh. Is he going to lose anything? How many drones has he lost now? I don't think he's really lost any. Okay. Now he's going to lose a couple.
Are these the first Hellbats we've seen entirely for today?
Well, not all today, no. Just in this game.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, that was a big volley.
13. That's going to hurt because either now... he continues to build Roaches with a lower economy.
Oh, God.
Or he goes back to droning and now isn't building Roaches for his attack.
Yeah. It's a painful thing to deal with. Pneumatized Carapace is on the way as well here for uzer. So he's going to commit to this fully. All of these units and Overlords and Queens are actually over here. I don't know why I went so high then pitch for the Queen, but there you go. Sheer astonishment, Apollo. Sheer astonishment.
more drones fall down here. This is disastrous. This is not good at all here. A lot of drones have been roasted. I guess up to like 20 now with this next drop coming in for sure. 21. Wow.
There's no roaches here to do anything about it.
Well, where are the roaches then?
They're all over the other side, preparing to be dropped. But what does LucifroN actually have?
8 Marauders, 3 Marines, and a tank. He should have stim by now. It's 11 minutes 30. Of course he should have. I don't think this is going to work. 32 workers? And now this drop entering the main base, I think if my little eyes can help me read the faraway screen.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, look at how many units he's got.
So much. And
these roaches, granted they got 1-1, a couple of queens for a couple of transfuses, but look at the beautiful lift up of the starport saying, you know what? Hold on a minute. I'm just going to create myself a bit of room. Wow. This just didn't work. There's just not enough units, not enough quantity.
And he pushes in at the front as well here, trying to draw LucifroN thin where he can. Unit counts as 20 roaches, but LucifroN, in the initial engagement, he had a better position. The roaches only have 4 range. All of this has more, so he could easily defend in his main against all that SimCity. And now uzer trying to kill off something at the front.
And in the main as well, right? I can see some flashing lights back there. And he just pick up and get out, but still, he hasn't done enough. No, I mean, let's have a look at the SCVs killed. I'm sure he's killed a few.
25.
25 is a good amount, but it's 2 base, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 base all in versus 3 command centers, double engineering bays, repeat, no third hatchery.
He's hardly got any gas income as well. Look at that.
It's because he lost so many drones, he had to put them back into minerals to be able to keep up his roach camp because he banked enough gas. So he's trying to transfer where his drones are to give him the best income to support, continue to build roaches. But we all know the longer the game goes on, the worse roaches become because the more marauders come into the field. A third hatchery comes down, but look how slow that is.
Cheeky little move here by uzer, trying to get some creep going over at this location. Has been spotted in the end, and there is that counter, once again, not only at the natural, but also in the main. So user's trying to keep his opponent back where he can. Don't think it's going to work, though. LucifroN seems adamant about just pushing into the middle.
Ah, well, these roaches, man. Still doing a bit of harassment. LucifroN, though, commanding the supply at the moment. 20 supply in the lead. 10 more roaches on the way, though. But, well, this is going to hurt a little bit, too. I mean, the armory's down already, but...
He hardly has any units left. The queens are going to go down, as are the roaches. This Bioforce just too much. Actually, quite a few roaches popped there. But even still, this Bioforce with 1-1, also with the 1-1. There you go, GG for game number 1. Plenty of 1s in that sentence. But there you go.
Well, that was an interesting game. You know, a 2-base roach 1-1 timing to try to stop LucifroN getting into rhythm and getting that, you know, ball moving.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Very simply, didn't work. LucifroN held it. I guess the Hellbats held it, to be honest, because those are the ones that kept the roaches back, that killed the drones to slow it down. But LucifroN, not looking like he's going to be stopped.
No, certainly not. Looking very, very formidable right now. And going into game number 2, I'm wondering what the map actually is. I'm not even sure it matters that much right now. It's going to be Star Station. And LucifroN here, going into game number 2. It's always going to be very, very hard for uzer because his results in the past against Terran have not really been there too much.
Yeah.
This is his worst matchup by far, by a long, long shot. Sitting around like a 20-30% win ratio right now in Heart of the Swarm, falling to people like Dystar twice in the last EPS.
Yeah.
Once in the upper bracket final, and then in the entirety final, as he was able to prevail through against ZVZ.
I mean,
so
Dystar's good. He's not a bad player, but he's not as fast and as strong as LucifroN is. A lot of times when I watch Dystar, a very simple thing to bring up an example for a player that's not as fast is he'll send up a drop, and he'll shift-click it to drop into the main base of the Zerg and won't touch it for another 30 seconds because he's occupied doing other things. And then he'll use it to come in. But LucifroN will never, ever make those kind of mistakes. He's just a lot faster and stronger, especially, as mentioned earlier, since he's been playing full-time. He's playing a lot of StarCraft at this point. We'll see if he's going to pick up this 2-0 because the odds are heavily in his favor to be able to knock out uzer and put him down into to Challenger League. But at least he stays in Challenger League and stays relevant within the WCS system. As we do prepare ourselves to see if LucifroN will join out Naniwa into the round of 16 with some amazing other players that we already have qualified from the 5 other groups.
I would love to see uzer somehow try and rise through it all, though, and make it work. But it's going to be so tough. He has to play the game of his life right now to keep himself in this. If he doesn't, he's gone. He's back in Challenger, has to qualify back through again. LucifroN, on the other hand, he needs that position as well. He was pegged as one of the very favorites in Season 1 to make it all the way to the very top.
Yeah.
Going out of the round of 32, he's not here to do that. He's here to go back to that top 8, back to that top 4, try and win it all. That's what LucifroN is out to do.
Of course he is, man. He's a tournament-winning caliber player. He just needs to win a tournament in Heart of the Swarm here. He hasn't quite managed to do that yet, but it's on the edge. It is coming very shortly. And I wouldn't be surprised if it could be Season 2 here, if he makes it outside of this group and comes to play live in Cologne, Germany in a couple of weeks' time. There are some big players that he has to go through once again, like last season. We'll see. I'd love to see an MVP and LucifroN game again in Season 2.
That would be good. All right, and here we go into the potential final game of the night as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our red Terran. He is Mao's LucifroN. And spawning up to the top left-hand corner. Oops. I pressed the F button. I was clicked on the command center. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our blue Zerg, the Faceless Void. He is uzer.
A Faceless Void. He's going to take that nickname with him, isn't he?
We should apologize in advance. Don't blame us, uzer. We didn't do anything.
It was who made that nickname up anyway? It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, just before
it was you. All right, you take credit for that then.
Thank you. Oh, that's so kind.
All right, so again, LucifroN. The thing is, when you are, and you guys can relate at home too, very easily. When you're a player who is playing against another one that you know is weaker than you are, you always play defensive. Like every single time. If you're a Gold League player watching this right now, play against a Bronze League player, you probably know you're going to win, and the main concern is not to lose the cheese.
Yeah,
right?
Indeed.
Anybody can relate to that. And that's probably what's in LucifroN's mind. It has to be number one. Don't lose to an all-in. If I don't, I will win. And that's basically the moral of this series, and even against Bly to a certain extent too.
And from that, Sean, could uzer use that to his advantage? Could he play super greedy, or is LucifroN the kind of player that's not going to allow that even regardless?
You can't. I mean, the way to play greedy as a Zerg player is to skip up on other elements, is to forget getting a Roach Warrior. There are corners you can cut. Did manage to save that SV. There are corners you can cut. You know, if he wants to play for... what's one of the big corners you can cut as a Zerg player? Not take gas, go 4 queens.
Yeah.
That's one corner you can cut and get a much faster third base. You can do something crazy like 3 hatcheries early on. There's corners you cut earlier on, but I don't think there's too many. I guess the number one corner to cut is very simply not building units, like Rhett does.
Yeah, of course.
There's not too many build cuts you make like you would do as a Protoss player where you don't get gate. I guess it's kind of the same. You don't get units, you don't get gateways. It's kind of the same thing.
And I think he kind of landed on arguably one of the worst maps to try and cut corners on, because getting up a third base on this map, bit treacherous, I think.
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult. I mean, if there's any kind of Hellbat Marauder timings, that it's a little bit easier for LucifroN to move through the middle to get towards that third base. Yeah, it can be sometimes difficult to deal with here. But with a gas coming down here for uzer, nice and early. He's going to get Zergling speed nice and early here, as he does prepare to take out of the Extractor. Just leaving 1 in, and now 0.
And we have the Reaper heading on in.
And sees that speed is on the way.
That spawning pool whirring away. Drones come off the line just to buy time for those Zerglings to pop out, and then the Zerglings buy time for their Queens to pop out. So a never-ending cycle up until the point where the Queens come out, I guess.
Do you know what one thing that could ruin LucifroN?
Yeah.
Is if he gets complacent. And like, you know, well, it's kind of easy this game. Maybe I'll just try some Hellbat drops or try something a little bit funky. Let's try. I fancy playing with a Cloak Banshee, and you know, stuff like this that could lose him the game. Be impatient with fights or something because he just wants to get it over with faster if he feels he's that much of a stronger player. These kind of things can lead into favor of uzer. But so far, LucifroN's just mapped out his build exactly identical to how he did every single game today against Zerg players. So, I mean, it's quite easy to learn from LucifroN here today because he's used the same thing every game. Just, you know, the Reaper build into the command center, Then he gets, I mean, with his gas from the Reef build, he never takes out of gas. He's able to get the reactor into the factory, then tech lab for a tank. Lines up beautifully. If you look at his gas, as he finishes the tank, or builds the tank now, drops right down to 8.
Yeah.
It's really, really streamlined, his build.
And there were a lot of Lings in production there to actually move across the map here. So he's looking to put in a position of aggression.
Well, 13 Lings can surround the bunker here, but I mean, that's what he's looking to aim for here. There is an SCV already that can start to repair. He's going to have to pull off really fast.
And
but there's 2 Reapers in there. It's not 4 Marines.
Yeah, that's a lot of firepower he has.
2 Reapers were in there.
Has to run away for now. Those Reapers being very pesky for him. Lings technically do see everything, though. I mean, if you're going to take anything away from that, it's going to be the scouting information, not necessarily the damage for now, as it'll hold him in good stead for just a little bit.
I mean, if you go back to talking about your friend and whatnot, imagine right now you're that player. You're that Gold League player or Platinum player playing against a Silver League or Bronze League, and Billy George or whatever your friend's name is comes in with Zerglings and you defend it like that. You're like, oh, yeah. That's right. That's 1-0 to me. Because that wasn't drones that you just made. That was a bunch of Zerglings that did nothing. And they did nothing there.
Exactly nothing. As no units have been lost thus far. Is that it? You done? You done?
I guess it's
no,
not.
you're not. No, you're not. You're not done.
For anybody that watched the start of the show to the end, you would have noticed that we've made switch positions as Klaus was the observer because of this.
We switched.
But whatever the case, I'm gone.
Bye-bye,
I like
Apollo.
casting from a long distance.
We're going to incinerate the PC tomorrow, we've been told by administration. Fantastic.
Luckily, not sponsored by a hardware company yet.
Yeah. It wasn't Kenninger that said that.
All right, so we do have the layer down faster again with double evolution chamber. Should be for a similar style, I suppose. I think that's, I mean, timings to win in the mid game are strongest if it's either a Roach Baneling speed attack or with Roach Hydra plays. So I think on this map would be nice to see a missile attack again. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Missile attack again. And if you think about the third base from LucifroN, it does suffer from the same problem that Protoss players will suffer from.
Yeah.
Which is having Zerg come from a large radius into your third base, and it's very difficult to deal with. I mean, how many tanks does LucifroN have?
Currently has one
Just
tank.
one. Okay, so in an ideal world, tank production should be continuing.
Yeah.
They're very, very good against Roach Hydra. Very, very good.
And now, I mean, with user actually scouting that out, ooh, and getting a good surround there. That's very unlike LucifroN to allow that to happen, especially since he was controlling the watchtower and saw it coming from the very, very beginning. But now, LucifroN, that tank is very, very vulnerably placed, I would say, on the high ground, just a little bit further. Maybe it would cover less ground, of course, but will be more sturdy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Hellbats and a couple of units in front of it. Maybe a bunker should be placed in front of it to give it a bit of an edge, but we do see some Hellbats coming in.
Ooh. Oh, he mineral walks those drones down there. It does kill off the Queen in the end, but those drones were very, very close to absolute death.
Well, how many drones were killed? Because were those
Not too
originally
many.
from the natural? Potentially, yeah, because you see this missing from the natural. So 5 drones were killed there, and a couple of Hellbats coming out again. So cost efficient. Just a couple of 100 mineral Hellbats at this stage, getting in there, getting a couple of kills, slowing down the attack, which we're probably going to see coming. I'd suggest the attack be with 2-2 upgrades over 1-1. 1-1's a bit small. If you look at his army supply, I mean, not army supply, but supply in itself is only 82. Roach speed isn't done. So going for 2-2 and then going for a big attack, ideally, if you're a good Zerg player that hasn't taken hits like drone losses, you attack with roughly 200 supply. But that will not be the case here. It will be roughly 160.
Yeah, exactly. He's just going to go straight away with these upgrades. And Hellbats get dropped once again. How much damage is he going to do? Not too much of the natural. User's keeping a good tabs on this natural, and his main is spined and spored up. So he has at least bits of defense there.
Well, how many drones have been killed in total now? 9. So another 4. Another 4 have been killed.
Another 5.
Another 5.
Yeah.
You know, that every time, just to drop 2 Hellbats like that for 5 kills is great. Is absolutely perfect because, I mean, yes, he's not there, but does he really need Widow Mines? Especially against playing Roach Hydra? No.
Yeah, the lifetime of an entire SCV just mining across an entire game is far more than 5, especially. Is far more than the investment that you make into those Hellbats. Maybe not too much in terms of the gas for the medevac, but it's still a great trade for him in the end. As once again, uzer pushing into this third base and denies a little bit of mining time, but gets stimmed to death.
Yeah, I mean, Roaches get brutalized by Marauders, but here's the attack coming in very shortly as the unit count is starting to increase, right? There should be no more drones whatsoever now. Just units, units, and units. And they attack as a unit. And hopefully, he's, of course, in Uzer's world, he wins the game. But with the setup that we have from LucifroN, with his spread of units and multiple tanks now, notice, Barracks creating a wall, bringing down the surface area, which Uzer would ideally love to fight within. Yeah. Everything is being set up. 2-2 getting closer and closer to finishing. Look how he's opened up his supply to 200, basically, 198. If he hits his lava injects by 2-2, he can be the 200 supply.
This fortification for LucifroN is almost impenetrable. One of these bunker barracks may end up going down to these roaches, but breaking that siege tank line at the back with the infantry in place as well to shut it down is going to be so hard.
I don't think he can break it.
Yeah.
I guess I'd start to question myself. Can I break this? Maybe I need a 4th base down. Maybe I need to throw down the infestation pit. Because I don't think this is going to be broken. I don't know about you guys at home, but I don't think so. With a 4th hatchery coming down, that may be him guessing himself a little bit here. And if we see an infestation pit, totally. But, I mean, the drone doesn't even get to come down.
How annoying. How annoying for the Zerg player. 184 supply right now to 185. With the roaches going to be maxing out user very, very soon here. The scan was over here. Okay. Wait, no, it wasn't. It was in the main.
Okay, it was in the main?
Yep.
Seeing if he'd gone up to Hive or not yet.
Yeah. Oh, cheeky Marauders.
Yeah. Oh, if he picks up that, oh my god, that's his timing.
Oh, 2 seconds, 1 second. Oh, he just barely finishes before getting picked off.
But now's his time to attack. He's got to be attacking.
And he's going to go for it here. There's so many siege tanks. Actually, some of them were on siege during that. So this is potentially the best time.
Ah!
No, not me. It is me. It's me.
The unthinkable. Galaris!
The unthinkable. Don't drop. Don't drop. Pushing forwards. Bio killing roaches. Sean. Oh no. Push forwards, LucifroN. Kill roaches. User. He's pulling back. And there's even those Marauders still doing some damage in the main as well. There you go. GG. LucifroN takes it. And that means LucifroN will advance on to the round of 16.
That's right. Congratulations to LucifroN. We will be having an interview with him very shortly here. And he moves on with Naniwa to join the 10 other players, 12 in total now, making it into the round of 16.
LucifroN and Naniwa marching on. Very impressive stuff from Naniwa, all the way from Korea. And then LucifroN deciding that the road of Zergs was not going to be enough to defeat him. Yeah. So guys, we'll go to a commercial break. And then when we're back, we'll have an interview with the winner, Mao's Luke. Okay, guys, welcome back to the WCS Europe Premier League Season 2. We have the second player to advance onto the round 16 on the line. It's LucifroN. How are you doing, LucifroN?
Hey, I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so coming into this group, having to tackle Naniwa to begin here. Can you just talk us through your initial thoughts about going up against Naniwa and then the series?
Well, I expected him to play normal games, but I guess that since he was in Korea, he decided to all in every game, and my build order apparently wasn't that good against his all in, so I just lost the series. I don't know, in practice I'm doing decent against Protoss, even if I think it's really hard, but I don't know, I think I didn't play my best today.
Would you consider Protoss your worst matchup? You're saying you found it really hard currently.
Yeah, definitely. For me, TVP is extremely hard.
Is it anything to do with the recent War Prism change, or just in general?
No, it's just in general. I find the late game really hard for Terran to take a 4th and a 5th base in most maps. And then they have so many all-ins that sometimes you can scout them and sometimes not. But overall, I feel that the matchup is at times really random, and I don't know. I just dislike playing it. I prefer TBC, TBT way more.
Okay, well, let's talk about your TVZ a little bit more, as you did have to go through Terran players. You look pretty damn good, actually, in your Terran versus Protoss. Did you have, I mean, Terran versus Zig, did you have any worries at all with Bly and uzer?
Well, I saw this build order from Supernova against Kango not too long ago on OSL, and it seemed really safe, and at the same time, it didn't leave you behind if the Zerg played greedy, so I liked it a lot, and when I started practicing with it, I started to win TVC way more than before. Like, in the last games in ladder, maybe I have 80-85% win ratio on TVC, so I was feeling really confident.
One question on your Terran versus Zerg, especially that decision to go for tanks early on. Do you not feel that it maybe hinders you to maybe keep him back a little bit, to keep the creep spread back, to maybe slow down his third? Is that not one of the weaknesses of that build?
Yeah, I think if the Zerg plays really greedy, then it leaves you maybe a little bit behind. But, well, the follow-up is with Hellbat drop, so you can see what he's doing, and you have medevacs as well. So if he's drawn a lot, you can always deny some creep even without steam, just with the medevacs and few units, while you harass with the Hellbat drop. So if executed properly, it in any situation it can work, I think.
All right, well, looking on forward now to the round of 16, obviously you were there last season, and some disappointments there in the very end of season number 1. Looking forward on to season 2, what are your expectations? Are you looking to take it all, or how realistic are you looking at it?
Yeah, well, I want to at least qualify for the global final, so that's top 6 this season, which is what I did last season. Well, so that's like the worst case scenario for me that I would be satisfied with is top 6. But of course, I'm aiming for the win. But I really have to work on my PvP.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of more Protoss players coming into this season, aren't there, compared to last season? Just to go back onto the one point I wanted to talk about is on that last map when we did have that bit of a lag issue. Do you think that would have affected the change, the outcome of the game whatsoever?
No, I don't think so. He had a Roach Hydra army, and like in that spot he couldn't micro that much, and I had already shift click with my tank, so what I wanted them to attack, so I don't think it affected that much, if anything at all.
All right, well, any other questions, Sean?
Is there anybody here, LucifroN, that's made it through the round of 16? You know, MVP, Stefano, MC, there's a lot of good guys in there. Is there anybody that you wouldn't want to meet in the round of 16? I guess
all
Protoss players.
All the Protoss players.
Done.
And you'd love to play against MVP again?
Well, not love, but I mean, I think I can beat him again, so it's not something I'm particularly looking forward to, but I wouldn't be sad about it.
All right, great.
Awesome stuff. Well, congratulations for advancing on LucifroN, and we'll see you at the live event.
Okay, thank you.
All
See
right,
ya.
congratulations. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, well, there we have it. The Skype call now done, and this third week now done. As we finished up with 6 different groups now in the round of 32, and we've got 12 players that have made it into the round of 16 so far.
Yeah, only 4 more spots left. Those will be filled next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central European summertime. And it certainly is summer here. It's damn warm.
It is very, very warm. So make sure to tune in next week to the last games, the last couple of days that we have for the round of 32 before we hit the round of 16. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very cool. So that does it for this week's broadcast, guys. Make sure to tune in next week, and we'll see you later.